I know that. Good evening, everyone. I know that right now the real estate market is very tough. Lots of agents call me, discuss with the market condition, and lots of people are confused. Even the clients are confused. The buyers, the sellers, they do not know what position should they take. To tell the truth, that nobody knows. I don't know either. But I come here today. I want to talk about my personal observation, and I have gone through not many, a few downturn in real estate in GTA. The first one will be, I think the first one was 2008 to 2009, about a 9 months downturn. The second one is 2017 to 2018. And then obviously we have short downturn of 2020 and then booming by 2021, 2022. And then starting 2023, our market slowed down. Last year, even lower. And the past 4 months, even lower than 2024. So I just want to say that from my past experience, and then what is my observation for the future 6 months to 9 months. If I say 6 months, covers October. If I say 9 months, covers the end of this year. I think that the market will be more and more stabilized, roughly in mid of May or early June. Probably will be more stabilized in June. A couple of reasons that everyone knows that U.S. President Trump has put the tariff war against the whole world, and up to today, they do not have a good results with Japan, with Vietnam, don't mention China. So with many concerns from inside the states and then the whole world, I think that Trump's tariff war will be a bigger failure, and that will be show up in end of May or mid of June, that period. And in between Powell, Federal Reserve, and U.S. President administration, they're going to have a battle. I think eventually that will drive the entry rate go down somewhat, maybe half point or maybe 0.5% in June. This is my confidence. I think that the U.S. entry rate will be cut in first half of this year, probably in early of May, middle of June. And next Monday, we're going to have our final day of voting for election to vote our next Prime Minister of Canada. After the election, I hope that whoever wins will have a stable policy in terms of our economy, tariff war against the U.S., and immigration. So that with that stabilized federal government, I think that our market will be settled down in a few months. Just like I said at the very beginning, nobody knows what's going to happen, but that is my belief. My belief is the market will be settled down, stabilized in June, and in the next 6 months, our market will stay low, but slowly recover. The basic tone of this year, 2025, will be that we can stay stable. We can get rid of the uncertainty caused by Trump, caused by 3 Prime Minister of Canada, caused by the strong tension relationship between Canada with US, with China, with India, with so many countries. So by end of summer, I hope that our market will slowly recover in terms of number of sales of real estate, in terms of price will be more and more stabilized. if you watch stock market, you'll probably notice that the market go up, go down, or go up, go down every second. When Trump says something, our market have a big jump or big drop. And last night, Trump says he's thinking to reduce the tariff against China. Definitely not zero, but much lower than 125%. Whatever he say, treat him as madman. But the madman eventually will be, I hope that he will be stabilized, he will be settle down his ideas, and then bring the whole North America into a right direction. So my conclusion, the market will be more stabilized in June, and lots of people are saying that should I sell, should I buy, and then what is the technique to listings, to buyers. I would say this: if you have a property to sell and you have to sell, I would say the same thing to my homeowner, to my friends who is a seller, that if you have investment, you bought high, you have a big hole in the financial picture, you really need to get rid of property, you really need to sell the property in 2 or 3 months, then price it according to today's condition. Don't price high because nobody gonna give you offer. And if you do not need to sell this year, and I have some cash reserve, either buried in the basement, either under your pillow, whatever, you do not have to sell. Then I don't think you really need to sell now, because lots of people saying that you should treat your real estate as a gold. Like the price of gold today is almost 3,400. So if you are a buyer and then you're really buying something for your personal living, you really have extra cash, mortgage approved for investment. Speaking from my heart, I think right now it is a good time to buy. Right now it is a very low point of the real estate market in terms of pricing, and even not the lowest. So I hope that everyone joined tonight. You can, after our manager speaking, you can raise the questions. I will be in the background to listen your question. And then let's have a good discussion from here. I think the next speaker will be my son, Scott Ma. He will talk about the common issues we have met in the past few months about commercial leasing and residential leasing. Scott, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Tony. So I think that was a great overview of what's going on in today's market. Just to preface for tonight's agenda, so obviously we have all of our managers on the call tonight, and really the goal tonight is to kind of share with you all our insights over the past, let's say 6 months to a year, what we are seeing in terms of feedback from our agents. And we want to kind of share our insights, our ideas, and really to try to benefit everyone. And I think really the goal is for everyone to be able to learn something and take something away and apply to their business. So my topic is dealing with commercial and residential leasing. I think in the past, I'll say 3 to 4 months, we've gotten a lot of questions on both residential leasing and commercial leasing. So I thought, it'd be good to kind of give everyone an overview. So I'll just jump right in. Residential leasing. My background, if you don't know, I am a lawyer, and I used to deal a lot with commercial real estate, including leasing. I would not call myself an expert, but I'm pretty good knowledge, solid knowledge on commercial leases. Residential leases is slightly different, of course, and I think for a lot of agents, you're working on resale deals. You may not know all the ins and outs of leasing, so that's why I think there's a lot of questions, especially when you're listing a property with tenants or you're listing a rental property or if you have tenant clients. So, overview number one, rental increase guidelines. So basically, every year you can increase the rent on a residential unit as long as long as it was built and first occupied after November 15th, 2018. So any units built and occupied after that date, the rent increase guidelines do not apply. So that means basically any new housing units, they are exempt. So you can, charge the rent, that you think is fair. But obviously, we are still in the real estate market. And so as a landlord's agent, if you're advising your client, you do have to consider what is the market rent today and what is a fair, reasonable rent increase that I can charge my tenant. Because we all know, there are stories of tenants, excellent tenants, and there's also stories of not so good tenants. So you do want to balance, obviously the landlord wants to increase rent to cover any increased expenses. But at the same time, if you want to keep your tenant, you want to keep them happy, you want to be reasonable with your rent increase. So for 2025, any housing units that are governed by the rent increase guideline. The rent increase maximum limit is 2.5%, and you have to give the N1 notice to your tenant. Um, Now, selling properties with tenants, another big area of, I think, questions, sometimes confusion from some of our agents. If you're about to list a property, there's tenants. How do you go about handling the situation? Because you have to be, mindful of the tenant, right? Because let's say you put the property on the market, and you don't end up selling, and maybe the owner decides, you know what, I'm going to keep the tenant there. So you don't want to kick the tenant out too early, right? And you have to manage that process. So usually what I tell our agents is, put the property on the market first, have a very good relationship with the tenants and see what the market reaction is. And if you do get an offer, there's always the opportunity to negotiate an offer and make sure the closing date is at least 60 days from the acceptance date. So why 60 days? Because the N12 notice is a notice to use to give to a tenant once you have sold the property. So that means either the landlord's relative or family member is moving in, or you have sold the property to a purchaser and the buyer is going to move in themselves. And you need to give 60 days notice and 1 month rent as compensation. So usually what happens is let's say you have a 90-day closing, right? You give the N12 notice with at least 60 days notice. And hopefully the tenant does move out by the closing date, right? If they don't, then there are other options you can consider. There are situations where the tenant does not move out, and as a landlord and owner, you have to either go to the landlord tenant board or talk to the tenant. Hopefully, the 1 month compensation is enough. Sometimes you may have to give, I don't know, maybe 2 months rent, right? But end of the day, if you're selling the property, it may be worth it to give that money to the tenant as an incentive to leave, and ultimately you can close the sale. There's also showings with tenants in the property. You always have to handle it very carefully, even if you're, whether you're the listing agent or the buyer agent, right? If you're a buyer agent bringing a client to a property with tenants, you have to show up on time. You have to be courteous to the tenant. Um, yeah, lots of things can go wrong, and we've had some cases, with showings being canceled or agents being late. So I think as a professional agent, you always have to take care, especially when there are tenants involved. Number three, so tenant credit verification, due diligence. I think there's an increase in a lot of potential fraudulent activities on the part of tenants. Personally, I've seen rental applications from fake tenant profiles or even criminals. I'm not scared to admit it. So that's why it's very important to do your due diligence as a landlord agent. I suggest all of our agents always obtain your own credit score report. Our office can pull those for you for $30. $30 is a very small price to pay, when you can get your own real credit score report, because a lot of these reports can be forged by tenants, right? They can change information in the reports. If you're only relying on what you're given, you're not doing the full due diligence that you should be. Um, and you also need to always verify all of the references, all of the employment info, where they used to live, call the landlord, call the landlord's agent, call the employer, make sure all the info is accurate and correct. And always use Google. So I always tell agents, Google the tenants' names, go on MLS, search up the property they're currently living with, and see if all of the information aligns properly with what they're giving you. You'll never know. Google has so much information on people these days. It's kind of scary, but it's also good because it's a free tool to use to verify tenant information. Now, when you're preparing leases, our office has a Schedule A standard set of clauses for leases, and we've taken a lot of time and effort to make sure these clauses are obviously compliant with the Residential Tenancies Act, and also number two, to protect I think both landlords and tenants. Our Schedule A clauses are probably more in favor of the landlord because I think agents tend to do a lot more listings, right, for leases. But as a tenant agent, you can also use our standard. It's very, it's very reasonable. And then you also have to remember to do the Ontario Standard Lease. Typically, this is a landlord agent's responsibility to fill out because the landlord is obligated to provide this standard lease to tenants. And I always tell agents you should do it when you're doing the offer or shortly thereafter. It just makes it easier versus trying to get this filled out after the lease is closed, after the tenants moved in. You forget some of the information in there. And there are some cases where other brokerages may attach a whole set of different terms to the standard lease. I would say, well, I had a recent case where agents signed a lease and lease was all fully signed up, on standard lease was fully signed up, and then the listing brokerage provided the 10, 20 pages of additional terms to the standard lease. Is it enforceable? Does the tenant have to sign it? It's a tough question because I think you do have to read through those additional terms, see if anything is too onerous or not required by the Residential Tenancies Act. And end of the day, it's a contract. It's up to the parties to negotiate and agree on. So I wouldn't say anything is forced on the tenant to sign. But at the same time, the landlord does need to protect their own interests. So it's always kind of a balancing act. And at the end of the day, if you have any questions at all, always come to our managers first. We can help you with your transactions. The worst thing you can do is not ask any questions. You wait after closing, then 30 days after closing, there's a problem, and then once there's a problem, it's harder to fix, right? So next, I'm going to move on to commercial leasing. I find it really, kind of inspiring. A lot of our residential agents are moving towards commercial leasing for office space, retail space, warehouse space. I think it's a very popular, not popular, but very, yeah, very good field to go into because, if residential activity is down, a commercial is a great opportunity to look into. And you may know a lot of the big firms like CBRE or Colliers. They are the big guys in the industry. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for agents like us to delve into commercial leasing because it can be very lucrative as long as you have a solid base of knowledge of what you're looking at, and you can help your agent find the right space and ultimately protect their interests. I'm by no means an expert in commercial leasing, but I have read my share of leases, negotiated and drafted my share of leases. So these things are kind of pretty foundational topics. So I'll go straight into these things. So lease types, there's gross leases, net leases, and triple net. Basically, it just means what does the rent under the lease include? So in a gross lease, the rent is gross. So that means it includes basically everything that is provided to the tenant. So you know, you have, and then you have net leases, right? So net lease means you basically pay a basic rent to the landlord, and the landlord may include some services to the tenant. Some other services may not be included, may be additional. And then you have triple net, which is net to the landlord. That means, you know, basically the tenant pays everything, except for a couple of minor things which are included under common area maintenance. So I'll talk about that in a bit. But and then lease term and options. Generally, you want to ask the landlord, you know, what kind of lease term are you expecting? Are there any renewal options? Um, and depends, you know, what side you're representing too, right? If you are representing a tenant or representing a landlord, obviously a landlord wants a longer term, more rent. Possibly a landlord does not want a renewal option if they want to consider other tenants in 5 years, or they may want to grant an option to renew. For a tenant, you know, they probably would rather sign a 3 year lease term versus a 5 or 10 year. And a tenant definitely will want a renewal option. And for renewals, typically they are at fair market rent. So whatever is the fair market rent for a comparable space in a comparable building in that area. I've also seen renewal rents specified at a rate. You know, if you are a strong tenant with good negotiation power, you can kind of establish the renewal rate in advance. Rent structure and escalations. This goes back to, you know, gross and net leases. So, what is the rent structure? What is the escalation every year? Typically, for a triple net lease, you're gonna have a basic rent amount, usually quoted on a per square foot basis. So let's say it's $10 basic rent per square feet, and the space is a small office space, 1,000 square feet. So you just do 1,000 times 10, that gives you $10,000 of basic rent for the whole year. And then you also have additional rent. So in a triple net lease, you have basic rent and additional rent. Additional rent means typically it's known as CAM or TMI. It means the same thing. So TMI means taxes, maintenance, and building insurance. CAM means common area maintenance and the other stuff. It just means that these are the things that are that the tenant has to pay for. So and that's not included in the rent. In a gross lease, TMI will be included in the gross rent. So you need to be able to calculate these numbers because they can make a big difference, right? If you tell your client, oh, the rent is $10. That's all. That's all, right? But you look closely and it's actually basic rent is $10, and you have TMI, which could be $5, $10, $15. It depends. And usually TMI, you cannot really negotiate it because it's usually calculated as the tenant's proportionate share of the common area maintenance for the whole building or the site. Very difficult to negotiate, but basic rent, you can definitely negotiate that depending on the lease term and the other you know, lease items. I've seen a lot more, you know, lease assignments and subletting, especially in cases where, you know, the lead tenant may have signed a 5 year lease and they decide, you know, business is not so good. I need to either sublet or assign the lease. I think in all these cases, you definitely need a lawyer to be involved, because an assignment agreement of a lease is very complex and you know, potentially onerous legal documents. So I don't recommend agents to do those themselves. You know, always seek legal professional advice. Oh, zoning and permitted use is a very important topic because if your client tells you, look, I'm looking for a space for this particular use, you know, find me anything that's suitable. As an agent for the tenant, you have to make sure that whatever you're looking at is zoned and permits that use. So let's say, you know, office use, you can generally tell by just looking at a building, are there other offices? You know, that's permitted. But for more, I think, unique uses, you do have to do your due diligence. An easy way is to go to the city website. Every municipality has their own website. and they have their own zoning department where you can order reports that certify, this is the zoning of the property. These are all of the permitted uses. And if a permitted use is not in the zoning, there's always an opportunity to apply for it from the city. There may be some cost and time associated with that, but it's definitely possible as long as it fits within the zoning of the site. And then lastly, just lease negotiation for tenants and landlords. There's a lot of nuances involved for both sides. I think again, always seek help from our managers. We can give you, some basic guidance that will really help you whether you're acting for a tenant or a landlord, because it's different from a residential. A commercial tenant does not have the same kind of rights as a residential tenant may have, right? Because in the commercial world, you have the Commercial Tenancies Act. It's not as tenant friendly as the residential side. It really, I would say, 95% depends on what's in the commercial lease, right? What's spelled out in the lease, because a lot of the times something that may be in the Commercial Tenancies Act, you can actually contract out of it in the commercial lease. So again, really signals the importance of having a lawyer involved, whether you're acting for the tenant or the landlord. You can draft the OREO form lease. There's a short form and a long form. You can use office clauses, but end of the day, there will probably be it's called kind of a formal lease or a full lease agreement. And for that, a lawyer is always a good idea because we are not legal experts. We cannot give the client guidance on clauses in the full lease, right? So you need a lawyer to review it and to kind of give their blessing. So I think again, the high level is these are the basic concepts. But anytime you have questions, always ask our managers, and we're always happy to help. So I think next I will pass it on to Sammy.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. It's Sammy, office manager. So we're going to hear about in the last quarter. It's already finished 3 months. Now it's fourth month, April now. And let's see, in the last quarter, we have close to, from my side, it's closer to thousands agents to ask the questions. And every month, it's almost like a 300. March is get a little bit of slowdown. And based on those questions, so here, yeah, that is most of the question when the agent ask. So we're going to quickly break it down and see what is the challenge right now or agent we have. So we put the top 5 category, 5 issues. So the number 1, I believe, is MLS operation. So I know lots of people, they don't like the trap because the trap, they make a change a lot in the past few years. They make the change more than last 30, 20 years. So that's why lots of the agent, they don't like that. And that's why we have lots of the agent has question regarding the MLS. So the next question is regarding the legal and the compliance. So next one is lease regarding tenant conflict questions. And the next one is a transaction negotiation. And you can see the chart. We have a top 5 issues. The last one is documentation error. From the, I put the PPTs to the left side. Okay, so from the first one, MLS system operation. And recently we have lots of agents ask the problem is regarding the listing. Because we recently, I get a lot of the agent ask, where's the 270, where's the MLS data form, 290, 291. And because we, recently the trap MLS listing in the edit, they have a feature. The feature is called a preview. From the preview, you just prepare all the information. Then you can download a preview, let your client sign together with listing agreement and record info guide. So you don't need to do the 2 times job. Before we have to file the listing agreement, working with a realtor. By the way, there's no working with realtor anymore. We have lots of the agent, they ask where's working with a realtor. So the RICO information guide is replaced the working with a realtor. And we don't need to do the MLS data form. You don't need to file that form anymore. That means we don't need to physically file that form from web form, but we have to fill all the information from the add edit. When you fill the other add edit, either you use the column listing from the previous one, but the column listing you cannot cross the type. Only it's free, for sale to for sale, for lease to for sale. You cannot cross the type. After you prepare all the information, you can download the draft and let your client sign it. It's really easy and efficient, save you lots of time. And that's the first one question we get a lot of the agent ask. It's regarding the listing data entry. And also there's a lot of the mandatory field. Like recently, lots of agents ask what's direction. And direction, it's a little bit weird. So I did lots of the research. What's direction? Direction means description to show how the buyer agent to find the location. So if you really don't know how to write, you just copy the intersection. That's okay. Let's just say Young and Finch. That's okay. Just a little bit duplicate for the intersection. And also there have a more mandatory field. I think a lot of agents already know that. Recently there's like a mandatory for the square footage just in the last few weeks. And we also did one of the video to show agents where we can find the free square footage from the ad edit. So it's free, it's no charge. Before we have to pay the $5 plus HST to buy, but right now it's free. And I don't want to waste too much time here, but if you really want to know how to find it out, go to our office website. We have a video. It's going to be step by step to show you how to do that. So next one, legal and compliance matters include lots of the fund track issue. And lots of the agent, they said, why does, the buyer ask? No other agent, they never ask. Other brokerage, they never ask. And why you ask so many informations? Because we comply with the fund track. And we don't want you in the future to get a penalty. Lots of the agent, they don't ask. They are not completely compliant with the fund track requirement. So that's why you see lots of the news, some brokerage, some agent get a penalty because they are not follow the rules. So that's why we have to always follow the complaint with the fund track. And if you don't know how to fill the information, or we have some client decline. They said, no, I'm not going to give you any of my personal information, like my photo ID, like a fund tracker receive funds, my banking information is top secret. Nobody either wanted to know that. I don't want to give. That's fine. You do your job. You don't need to lose the deal. Try your best. Explain to the client. If they really don't feel comfortable, if they really don't want to give, so you just, let them to sign it. The client refuse to provide and send it to the office or a complaint office. Attorney will decide either, how to deal with next step. And the next one is lease and tenant dispute. There's lots of the, sometimes the tenant move in because they are doing the video showing the property. We have some agent either where the listing, either where the tenant's agent video show the property. Even the buyer tenants not even come to see the property. And after they move in, they came here, they said, no, there's a problem. And then they have argument. So there's lots of the problem. Also include the security deposit. Sometimes they are really wanting to rent the unit. They voluntarily agree to provide a security deposit, not a security, pay in advance. And after they move in, they change the mind. They will say, no, this is illegal. Okay, anyway, there's lots of the issue, and we will not focus on details. The next one is number 4 is lots of the multiple offer situation, because the market change very quickly. Sometimes we feel the market is getting a little bit warm, a little bit hot, but suddenly it's get drop down. It's based on lots of the situation, and the multiple offer still we see there's some multiple offer. We have an agent, maybe their first time to prepare the offer, but also we have a training, lots of the training regarding the multiple offer, how to handle it, and also the mutual release. There's lots arguments with mutual release. We even see some people, they standing in the front door. They said, ask your manager, I need my deposit back now. It's really tough, but we have to explain the process. As an agent, listing agent, cooperating agent, you have to explain to your buyer in case, there's something happen, you need a mutual release, you need to take time. It's not every deal secretary only waiting for this transaction. There's a lot still need to do. So they need the time to process. And also number 5, documentation errors. And we have lots of agent, the commission is ready, and the deals ask, where's the forms? Where's the fund track form? Where's the listing agreement? Where's the, even there's a missing signature, missing initial. So you should get all the forms ready. When you have an offer, you should get all the forms prepared well, like offer, waiver, notice fulfillment, deposit, receive funds, fund track form. You should get all the forms ready before the closing. Don't wait for the last minutes after closing. You ask, where's my commission? Deals, they never know there's deals come in because they don't have document. And then ask your document. You ask a buyer to sign the BRA, the buyer refused to sign. They said already closed. Why I need to sign that? You ask a buyer for the photo ID, for the banking account. Of course, lots of the buyers, they refuse to provide. Okay, anyway, so plan ahead. Never wait for the last minute. And yeah, I think we cover lots of the details regarding the MLS system operation and fund track and lease, tenants, dispute. As Scott is also mentioned lots of the residential lease and transaction. Yeah, that is, in the first quarter, we know it's not easy. Every agent is really working hard. It's lots of listing cannot sell, but I will see the lots of agents still try very best, do open house, do marketing, and it's working very hard. And also the buyer, working the buyer side is much more harder because the buyer always looking for the low deal. And anyway, should it be better in the next quarter? We are hopefully in the second quarter, everybody can, just pass the first quarter hard time and getting a little bit of bright future in the next quarter. Okay, so yes, I think at 10 minutes, I'll just pass a little bit of time. Now I'm going to pass to David, talk about the recently. There's lots of the complaint, lots of the, the issues regarding the commission dispute. So I will pass to David, talk about recently complaint.
Okay, thank you, Sammy. Good evening, everyone. It's Dave here. And I think I saw some of you this morning already that the commercial training section regarding sell and buying small business this morning. And again, so I'm here to see you guys here. My topic today is, I don't want to spend too much time here. So I'm talking about money. It's not the money Tony to pay you, not the money the broker to pay you. There's the money maybe you are going to pay, or the money you are going to receive. So that's why it's important for everyone here. I wish you can remember what the topic today. Of course, as I say, the 10 minutes is not enough time for me to say a lot of stuff. So I will run the section in May 3rd, Sammy, right? May 3rd will be the section regarding how to protect your commission. I will talk about it in much more details later on. Okay, tonight I will give us 4 topics briefly I can share with you. Number 1, as I said, that we're talking about money. That means agent is working on commission, self-employed. So in this case, if you're the agent, you're a realtor, so you need to work, not only work hard. I always said, even this morning in that training session, as a realtor, you not only work hard, you need to work smart. What do you mean work smart? That means you have to do a lot of things. Protect yourself. So the money you get, you will not going to pay for anything. So that's our job nature, right? So that's very important. So that's why I said, for realtor, you need to know. If you don't make money, if you don't make commission, what? You cannot survive. That's why recently a lot of people, even in the office or calling me, even Sammy as well, they say, hey, David, Sammy, I don't have any work to do. I don't get sale. I don't get the listing. I don't get a buyer. What I can do? I cannot survive. So that's why some people switch to doing something else, part-time, right? So that's why it's important. If you don't make money, you need to find something to survive. Number 1. Number 2, so if you are already working on the deal, working on a listing on a buyer, so in that case, you have to know how to protect yourself. Otherwise, you lose the money, you lose the commission. So that's the number one topic I can need to share with you here. The second one, make sure if we are talking about the commission, so you have to know why you had to pay. How can you receive the money, right? That's important. So everyone remember, we have 3 organizations. Then the governing body give guidance to us. Number 1 is RICO, right? RICO will be issue the license to realtor. If you don't have a license, you cannot do the trade, right? So it's a RICO. Let's make clear to everyone. So the people say, oh, David, my license is expired already. I did not get my license renewed. Then you cannot do the trade, right? So that's the RICO, the governing body. I will talk about it after this. So what the RICO do about it? Number 2 is OREA. OREA, everybody knows. We are having all the OREA forms, right? For selling, for listing, for buying, residential, commercial, everything, the forms already, they are created by OREA. So OREA also one function they're doing, if there any arbitration in charge, they will do the appeal to OREA. OREA will make a decision on arbitration. That's for OREA function. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, of course, CHARP. That's MLS, right? We're dealing with everyday MLS. Listing agent, buy agent, that's where our board, right? Toronto Real Estate Board, that's our home. That's our resources. So this one, they have their rules, regulation. I will talk about after a few minutes. So what they're doing about it, right? So that's the 3 organizations. We call it 3 levels organization, governing real estate licensed people. So I will talk about it briefly after this. So of course, besides the 3, we have our brokerage, HomeLight Landmark, right? Landmark have also, we have the policy. We have everything rules regulation in our brokerage as well. So please remember, all right? So that's the 3-level organization. You have remember that. So next one I need to talk a little more about is what kind of rules regulation, what you need to know as a realtor. So I will go by one quickly because I cannot give too much example here. A lot of cases I remember from our office, from other brokerage, you will see it's really a lot of the penalty, discipline, so you cannot get it too much in details. I can give some briefly. Let's going back to number 1. Okay, RICO. What RICO do? I said already, right? The license. But in our realtor, the most major issue for us, please remember, you need to follow the rules regulation for RICO. Number one is RICO. What does RICO said? RICO said when you sign the documentation, right, they have all the guidance. So I give the example. There's a lot of people say, David, I'm going to pre-offer, I'm going to do the listing, I'm going to do whatever. What the timing to sign the documentation, you make sure you don't get late. Let's say the BRA, according to the rules, if the BRA is signed after the offer prepared or signed already, that's wrong. So if RICO coming back to you, David, when did you sign the BRA? You said after offer prepared or after offer signed, that's wrong. So if they go by that, you'll be in trouble. Okay, so that's the kind rules regulation RICO. That's very important. The one thing I need key issue I have to make a point out here, that one of the rules, you are licensed realtor. So for lockbox code, so one of the example I gave you guys, okay? Lockbox code, you never give to your client to enter the property. According to the rules, the entry to the property should be under guidance with licensed trade people, like the licensed realtor. Without the licensed people, the buyer cannot enter into the property. So if you are the realtor, if you book for showing whatever, for any reason, you cannot go to see the property, show the property, you cannot give the code to the client to get the key from lockbox. No, we already got the many issues. The penalty, how much the penalty will be? From 2,500 to 7,500. We got a few cases already, right? So the RICO will penalize you if you do that. Please do not do that. That's one of the RICO's discipline. We call it discipline. That's a penalty. The same thing like traffic ticket, right? So that's one the major thing I can point out here. So a lot of cases. I don't need to do share with you here. If you have time, please go to RICO website. You will find a lot of enforcement cases. What kind of penalty? What is fines which should be there? What the rules regulations they fail to? So you will find a lot of stuff. I remember the one of the brokers was penalized for 250,000. You see, imagine how much the penalty. So RICO nowadays has more strict regulations. Not used to be so light. So nowadays you get more penalty, right? So this one, the RICO. A lot of cases, again, I would say I will not touch anything because later on the May 3rd, you can come to the section, we can talk about more there, okay? The number one. Aurea, as I mentioned already, it's about appeal. If anything arbitration in trial is not done, if something, both parties have something, the claimant and the defendant have something not agree, you can make an appeal to Aurea. Aurea will make a decision to go back to the arbitration, or they have to go reopen the case. So that's Aurea function, one of the function. So that's okay. I will not touch about it either. The most important now, as I say, CHOP, the board, real estate board is our home, right? It's our listing, our MLS. That's important. Sammy always mentioned about it, or even just now she mentioned about MLS listing. So it's for CHOP. No matter you are listing agent, you're buy agent, you need for the rules. The rules so nowadays really so hard, right? Number one, as a listing agent, you cannot do incorrect information. Anything incorrect, the job you find out, they will say what? We say this is misleading, misrepresentation. So in that way, you will get penalized. Let's say for some items, if you say property tax, it's wrong, they can go in up to 50,000 penalty, right? According to the rules regulation. So you need to make sure the property tax, it should be there. If it's a brand new property today, and the two agents also call us, also from CHOP already some notice, you make sure if not assessed yet, brand new, you need to get some way to find out. Number one, you're going to GWell house, Tony mentioned from time to time, Sammy also said to everyone, go to GBL house, find out if the property tax is there already, estimate or whatever, find out. If not there, not registered yet, coming back to ask the seller. I mean, some of the assignment, no property tax there, right? So if you really not there and not assessment there, write down the wording. Say the property is the brand new property, the property tax is not assessed yet. You need some wording like that. So otherwise, shop come back, hey, David, you're listening, listen, you miss something, you will be penalized again, right? So that's that's a key issue we need to remember as listing agent. Of course, a lot of issues there. Let's say square footage, high ceiling, and dimension of the house rooms. You need to make sure as a listing agent make accurate. Otherwise, you'll be in big trouble as well. I remember one of our listing agent, brokers. When the MS listing, she put the high room ceiling, 10-foot ceiling. She copied from previous listing. Actually, the ceiling height is about 9 foot only, right? So she did not measure it, did not realize that on the day of closing, the day before 1 day closing, the buyer knew already, even the buyer agent knew already. They never mentioned anything. On the day of closing, the lawyers tell the seller's lawyer, hey, Mr. Seller's lawyer, they are misleading the information there. So they're not 10-foot ceiling, only 9. I need compensation, 20,000, 50,000, whatever. I think at that time, our agent was paid for everything. Even if did not get the commission, he also even get the money from his pocket. The seller said, hey, David, I never told you. I never said the 10-foot ceiling. This is your listing agent job to verify it, okay? Please remember as a listing agent. A lot of issue I don't need to touch again, as I said, but I will talk about buyer agent. If you are the buyer agent, what they say, tracer, remember tracer has introduced new rules, right? So you need what? You need to sign the BRA, designated representative party agreement. If you don't have the BRA signed, you are not representing your client. If you're not representing your client, then you will not get a commission. But how can you get this signed? When do you get it signed? I already mentioned just now, before the offer prepared, you need to sign the BRA. Some confusion at the beginning, last year, but the tracer introduced, they say, without a BRA, I cannot show the property. No, that's not right. So BRA, let's say, the earliest possible, but the latest before the offer is signed or prepared. So that's important. Without the BRA, you cannot get commission. But the commission as charged, the deal with commission issue arbitration, that's important. That's why I said at the beginning, that's sometimes if you don't do anything to protect yourself, you lose your commission, you lose your money. I remember that many cases, brokers at midnight, 11:30, they call me, David, I got the offer to present tonight. I just found out that the buyer has signed the BRA with other brokers, the realtor. What I'm going to do? Midnight at 11:30, they're going to present offer. The property about $3 million house. What I can do, it's too late, right? So what I can suggest, everyone, before you sign the BRA, before you show the property, before you working with the buyer, always question. Number one question, hey, David, did you see any property before? You ask. They say no. If they say yes, with whom? Or with the listing agent, open house. Then your next question, did you sign an offer? Because when sign offer, sometimes they say, oh, sure, with listing agent possible. Listing agent is normal open house. They say, oh, you missed the buyer. Okay, I don't need to sign. I mean, if you're not working with other people, yeah, come. I can create an offer with you. So that's the kind of thing you say. If they already submit the offer, then the next question, did you sign the BRA? Sometimes sign the offer does not mean they sign BRA. The reason is some agent, some smart buyer, they say, David, I don't want to sign BRA with you in general. I want to sign the BRA only for this specific property. some buyers do that. So it's allowed to do that. So in that case, that's why I say you need to verify one by one, question by question. So in the end, if you find something really, you smell something, get away. Don't work for the buyer. If you make sure the clients never sign a BIA, never sign an offer with any other realtor, maybe it's safe for you. Otherwise, if you did not do this step, you got the, let's say, got a property sold, got the almost before closing, by maybe the other agent will call you, hey, David, sorry, this is my client. I got the BIA within my hand. My BIA signed before you, then they will file the complaint to CHOP. From CHOP, they give file the claim there. So you will be in trouble unless you prove you are innocent, unless you prove that the buyer lied to you, whatever. But this takes a long step. And in many cases, so probably if you cannot prove yourself, your commission, the full commission, you will lose total commission. That's why I said, work hard, you need to work smart. That's the kind of smart you need to work on. Make sure the client's clean. The client is not working with anybody else and with you. So in that way, you can protect the commission. Okay, so that's a CHOP function. In our brokerage, I can tell you that I have been to CHOP many times before COVID-19. I almost every 2-3 times a month. And after COVID-19, we got to slow down a little bit. But in our brokerage, I'm proud to say, I'm glad to tell you, everyone, we are most 80% to 90%, we won the case because our training is professional training. Our training is always, everyone know, follow our rules, regulation. So this kind of thing, if you don't know anything, then if you don't do your job, you will lose your commission. That's why at the very beginning I say, you need to pay money or you're going to receive money, right? So you receive money, that's the commission. So when you receive commission, that means you are safe without any claim against you. So that's the thing I'm here to share with you. Again, as I say, a lot of cases, I cannot go one by one, okay? The last one, I can just share with you that there's a process. If you are getting trouble, if you are getting complaint, you got claim by some commission or RICO, whatever, you need to approach us. You can talk to Sammy, myself, Scott, or Tony, say, I got a case or whatever. And if you receive something like in writing, send the writing, the claim or complaint, we share with us, then you prepare your story, okay? When you prepare a story, we will help you to do the model, to change something, give you some wording, smooth the case if you are complained by other people. But if you are claimed against other agent the same way, you need to get something right in. We can help you to do and modify, to do something in case to protect you or get something right, okay? So in arbitration CHOP, that let's say the BIA issue for commission, mostly, please remember, RICO, no matter what, you claim or you complain against someone or you were complained by other people, RICO will not deal with commission issue. They only deal with penalty. Penalty fines, penalize someone, fine something, but they never get involved in commission stuff. But in our cases, so it's commission issue will be deal with CHOP, okay? So as I said just now, if you feel something, let's say you sign a BIA with your client, the buyer went with somebody else to buy the other property, what you are going to do? Of course, you have filed a claim against that agent and against another realtor. So the timing will be, please remember, if you knew your client, you went with someone, you knew that the property will be closed in next day or whatever the days, find out the exact address. So find out the closing day. From after closing day, you have 90 days time to prepare your claim to get your commission for arbitration to CHOP. So if you pass 90 days, you cannot recover anything from trial. Okay, so in that way, you need to go what? You need to go sue the buyer to small court. I am not sure whether you guys knew that there is one case in our brokerage, our agent sued the buyer because passing the closing day. So buyer in small court, our case, we won the complete case. The buyer client, they at the beginning refused to pay commission because he signed BI with our agent, but he went to buy with somebody else. So we got everything in writing, the proof. Then we went to the small court. We won the case. So the judge at the small court until Oshawa, I was representing the broker attending the hearing. So the judge in the end they say that's a really special case. So they award us. We won the case as well. So that's why I said that's very important. Documentation. Sammy just mentioned about it. So the BRA is one of the proof. So the buyer cannot get away from you. So of course, we don't suggest, we don't say, encourage you to say, oh, sue the buyer, sue the buyer. No, we don't do that, right? If sometimes the buyer not reasonable, some buyer really doing something, without not in good faith, I don't want to let them get away. Of course, that's because you deserve it in your commission. Some people working for 3 months, 6 months, even 8 or a year. So if you did not protect yourself, you work for nothing. In the end, you lose everything, right? I remember again, so one of our agents showing the buyer from what? From Oshawa all the way to Mississauga, to Burlington, Oakville. In the end, the buyer went to buy the property with some other realtor. What you can do, right? So our agent finally found it and sue this buyer to a small court. In the end, the good thing is before the hearing, and the buyer voluntarily pay our agent at least half of the commission. So in that way, our agent withdraw the case. Yeah. So there's a lot of issues, a lot of cases like this. So that's why I said tonight, I'm just share with you some cases, some my experience. So make sure everyone remember how to protect your commission. Otherwise, I don't want you to lose money. I don't want you to work for nothing. So that's my topic tonight. Thank you for everyone. And the next talk will be for Kelvin. Kelvin will take over the microphone. Okay, thank you, Kelvin. Sammy, Kelvin is already there.
So today we have this agenda. We have going to talk about the powerful features about latest ChatGPT, and I'm going to introduce some of the good stuff like GPT desktop and image, video creating, that kind of thing. Okay, and then at the end I'm going to tell you about how the easy way to use GPT to do market analysis, MA, and the lead generation, that kind of thing. Okay, so this is one of the very powerful feature you can use, right? So you can do virtual staging. Usually it will cost you about I think from the beginning, I sort of pay for $9 for one photo. One of my students pay for 5 photos, something like that, and $40, something like that. So this is the very good result I would see from this, right? It just give me wherever the outside you pay for it, right? So before this and after this, I think this is good enough. I can post this in MLS for my listing, right? This is one. So simply is very simple to do that. I just ask ChatGPT, this is my desktop, right? And I give them some hints, and I tell him to make this virtual staging, and boom, just within a few seconds. That's it. So the powerful features now is getting better and better with the latest model, ChatGPT GPT 4.0. It's a fastest and accurate model. Of course, right now you can get 4.5, but 4.5 will have some limitation with the number of time you can use with the plus version. Plus version is the cheapest way you can pay for it, and it's very cost effective. I think $20, and is altogether with the tax in Canadian dollars about $33. Okay, it's all about it's like a meal or something, right? So it's worth it, worth it for your money. And definitely, if you want to be more competitive, this is the tools that I would suggest you must have. Okay, I say same thing in our Elite Agent training cards, and I will say again here. Okay, so this is the latest model. It's very fast, and it's better North America's centric specific knowledge. It can be tailored to real estate tasks. Okay, and a broader capability, so make it more general purpose. So comparing with DeepSeek. Okay, people asking about DeepSeek. It was talking about this whole topic every day, but now it's something else. Now it's DeepSeek is free. It's specific. It's not a broad general. It is a specific for coding, for writing. Is good. Especially is good for the Asian markets. If you want more info about that. But it's slow. It's very slow. Okay, not very slow, but it's like noticeable slow when you're comparing with the GPT-4o, and it's weaker on the North America knowledge, okay, information, and it has more restriction than GPT. So if you ask any sensitive questions, it will stop you. Okay, so it will not answer you. So you ask a political question, you anything else. You will be very surprised. There's nothing more you can ask, right? So this is no good. You want to break that, right? So, but no, I mean, with GPT is good enough. And of course, like with the free version, you will not get the desktop app. You will not get the image generation. You will not get the video generation. This all come with the GPT-4o, and with $20 US, you can get this whole bundle. Okay. And then the desktop application is the way to go, and it's very quick integrated with your Windows. It was first version with Mac iOS, but now it is with Windows. Tightly integrate together. You just type alternate space with keyboard shortcut, right? It will come out right away, just like that. Okay, and then you can close it. See, this is so simple. And then as well as the MLS in the description, like I use for my listing description. I just do the regular filling up with the edit information, and then throw the whole image into ChatGPT. Just give me the description to cover this listing in the listing description, right? So it's very quick and very good. And after that, you can also do the version for WeChat, for Facebook, for your other social media posts, right? And simplify the edit for the contract clause for your offer, right? Refine the clause and then put more legal correct phrases, and that I cover in my bootcamp training, how you can write the clause for vacate possession, something like that. That's a good example there. So you can go back to the training to see that. Email message refinement, there's also another way you can do the client better integration, better communication with the ChatGPT to write this instant revision, right? So that's the for your listing follow up and something like that. This is very good. Also, the latest one, I think with the coding is more like a real-time reaction and more real-time you can communicate, and just like your real-time assistant sitting there. But right now with the 4.0 version, GPT-4.0, I think you can only use the voice to communicate. It's not able to see you now, okay? But I think the coding part, it will be able to see your coding and give you advice, okay? But I think this one's going to expand. So this guy right now can only hear, right? Can only listen to you and react. But later on, you are able to see what you're doing. You can share your desktop, and then you can ask him to guide you through how to write up an offer or something like that. That's what we general idea. I mean, I hope that's going to be coming pretty soon, right? But who knows? I mean, right now it's not there, but it will be. Okay. So you can do the CMA, of course, generating CMA. Right now, you can turn on the web search, and then to do the CMA for the specific property, you can just say a prompt, and it will give you the list on like 3-4 page about the CMA report. Okay, that's wonderful. And the price inside forecast about the trend, property values, and you will do that. Okay. And property evaluation, right? And comparative marketing intelligence, like how many listing is similar to your listing, right? You list and then you know the competitors, then you can talk to your client. Maybe you can be more competitive, informed decision, faster response, something like that, right? So this would be like, before this, you have to do a lot of work, right? Spend a couple hours, few hours. But now it's like just a few minutes thing. Okay. So that's a prompt to do that. It's very easy, right? So it's, for example, this one, CMA summary, this, you can put that address, and then you can give you the result. Okay, so lead generation, that's another very good area of features that you can use with GPT. Okay, GPT-4o, you can ask to create a post for Instagram featuring top 5 starter homes under 800K in market. Just like that, and including the image, right, and something like that, and give you this, generate this image for you, and then you have other like the picture thumbnail, and then the description, right? So this would be able to grab the MLS data, right? Timely reference web data immediately with the web search. It will be the real-time instant data, right? So this would be more effective on the attracting the reaction for your post, and it will generate leads for you, right? But one thing to watch out is if you're using other agents to follow by this way, and then you do the post, you may get in trouble for violating the code, right? Okay, so but you can change the prompt a little bit. Just ask the GPT to mimic the listing follow. Do not just use, right? Just just create something, and then now using the real listing follow. So this is the result. If you give you something like this, very close, but some of them is really like you cannot say it's all real, but it's sometimes if you really funny, right? But this is definitely not 800K 3-car garage. So sometimes the follow is not give you that much, but you can ask him to give you another run of the follow generating, and it will serve the purpose. So maybe out of 4, you can get 3, 2 or so. So 2 runs, you can get all the right features, something like that. Okay, and then you will list on something and then script for your post. Of course, you want to do some tuning, some tweaking, and then to go for it. Okay. And the second example you can use is like, do a first-time buyer, and then you would generate this image for you. Will you follow your name, right? Not the Jane Doe or John Doe or something like that will follow, and generate the image immediately for you to use. Okay. And then you will have something like this, community focus content, right? Like the park school enrichment hill, and they would do that. And you good for your website SEO, attracting, relocating buyers, and there's no copyright issue as well. Okay, doing this, and you see it would generate something like that. It's very attractive, right? This is all generated image. Okay, so smartly for the re-engagement campaign, this is also something that you can use from your CRM. If you have old leads from CRM, you can ask GPT to re-engage those contacts based on last inquiry or last, based on the client's information. And then you can just write some update new message emails, something like a drip marketing campaign, for specific clients, right? And just dripping all the way until you get the client to have a business with you. Okay, that's the idea with the CRM and GPT integrated together, and that come up the best solution for the prospect. Of course, the latest feature will be the video, right? So you now can create a video to introduce yourself, to give a storyboard, to have something like together, generally visualize more interesting, attracting video, better than email, and to reach out to your customer, to your need, to your prospects. Okay. So I'm not gonna cover too much about the AI. And if you are interested to get more needs or interested about this mastering sales and marketing techniques and that kind of thing, you are welcome to join our course. Of course, that's the QR code, and we also post out the advertise this course every week, weekly communication about the course. Right now, we just finished the second class. So you're welcome to join us. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.
Hello, hi, good evening. My name is Lia. I'm most likely stay in Oakville westbound of Home Life Landmark office. Well, all the managers already cover all the fields. I just want to talk about a little bit about what happening in this office, and I think it's most likely what happened in the new for the new agent. So most likely the agent will call. Some are asking about some MS questions, deals, but most of the agents call is like, how can I get started? It's the same question I was thinking about me back 10 years ago. How do I get started? So I was like, like everybody else, like, I don't know what to do. But I did one thing is correct, and I never regretted it, is to go attend all the trainings. In the westbound, maybe not happen too much, like the big meetings, company meetings in Markham office. But some are agents complaining it's too far to drive to Markham office. It's true, especially right now, the gas is too high, traffic, everything, and you have a family. But some meetings that you have to go. If you are often asking for questions that we can explain only one question for you, but if you go continually finish the section, then you will be pro, right? Very fast. This is kind of like an investment. The others, I'm not talking too much. It's just like what I think that you should, as a new agent, what we should do is we should spend some times for ourselves, for our business. Not only when you get a client and you was asking me, oh, what do I do for this? What do I do for that? And sometimes asking, it's still not convenient for every time. Sometimes you call me at 11 o'clock at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. It happens when people have a bidding offer, call me 12:30, like, okay. But I still thinking, when we have an open house, please come. When I do an open house, only certain people, and also the same people coming every time. Come to the office often. So because we have a big resource in the office, sometimes we do a deal inside our office. We don't have to put on the market. It happened to me a few times. Come to the office, and if you have any questions, we can talk. That's a thing also. I asked the agent, like, do you have like agent who joined the brokerage for almost a year or over a year, and there's no business card. So I asked to do an open house. There's no business card, no open house sign, and no for sale sign. So that's all. Automatically, you're telling yourself, you know what? I have no client. I don't have to do this. But that's very negative. You should be prepared for, yes, tomorrow I will have a client. you should give yourself, that kind of thinking, prepare for yourself. The marketing is cold. The first year for the realtors always a hardest time. But you know what, we have a team, we have a help team, we have an office that you can go to, you can call anytime, you have your own group. I really, really hope those agents who are not ready, not prepared, please get yourself ready, and go out to help people to do an open house. Even you don't do it, just to stay there with the agent, and to learn something, to see how they approach to the people who are coming to the open house. And also, there's other question people always asking, do you have a team? I want to join a team. First of all, I don't know how to answer this question because for myself, if I want to join the team, yes, you will learn a lot from the team, all right? But you also have to prepare, also have to think what you can do to the team. You don't go to the team only because they have a lead for you. Even I have a lead for you, that what are you going to do with the lead? Are you going to mess up the deal, or are you going to be do it very successfully? So join to the team is not shorter. It's kind of like a learning process. So ask me if I have a lead for you, ask Tony, ask Melody if I have a lead for them. So if we give you a lead, that you have to do it, and you have to do it very professionally because you are from Home Life Landmark. If we give you a lead and you messed up the lead, you don't get any benefit. We don't get any benefit, right? So this is those things. I was in the office, and me and Sophia in the office was oftenly get a call or get asked at. But we really, really hope that I can see more faces, because some agent come to the office, I don't even know who they are, which they joined already a year now. I don't even recognize the face. So come to the office. We are there to help you. And the last thing I want to mention again, please get your business card ready, your for sale sign ready, and your open house sign ready. This is your investment. This is your business. This is your how can you to start it. If you don't get those things ready, you will never ever feel you're a realtor. You will never ever thinking that you will have a business. I think, Sammy, that's all from me now. Thank you so much, everybody, and wish you guys all good night. Sammy, back to you.
Okay. Thank you. So now I think it's question time, and you can feel free to ask any question. And before you ask, please see which manager you wanted to ask the question. Let's say I want to ask Sammy a question, so I can prepare to answer the question. Feel free to unmute yourself. If you don't want, please type your question in the chat room. We already see there's some question there, but hope you can, just like it's not face to face, but we can talk, unmute yourself, ask a question, any if you have.
Hello, this is Omar. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Omar.
All right. So hello everyone. Thank you for the presentation. It was really thoughtful and information valuable for new agents. So my question is, maybe that's going to be for the commercial and residential lease manager. When we are working with expatriate people, let's say people who come from another country to work for 2 years, so they need to find a spot for leave. Is there any sort of, in order to put a strong profile for this potential tenant, which basically is come from another country and is going to be working in Canada for, let's say, 1 or 2 years, what would be the best information we can put in their profile to have a strong tenant's information when we present that to the landlord?
Can I answer a little bit first? Sammy, that you
Yes,
can.
David, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. That's happen all the time for newcomer. Of course, in your case, it's the people on working permit, right? So in that way, make sure before you show the property, before you, prepare the offer for lease, talk to the listing agent, ask the listing agent what the landlord required, what landlord needed. So based on that, if some landlord say, I will not prepare anything from newcomer, I will not do whatever on working permit. So in that case, you don't waste your time there. So number one. Number two, of course, you need to prepare the client, make sure they are financially they are okay. They have working permit. They have even you can find them a guarantor. The guarantors could be their friends, or guarantor could be maybe their employer as well. So in that way, make your people because they don't have credit check report, they don't have the new people, right? So in that way, you say, I have a guarantor, I have financial. Let's say you show them your clients' banking statement have some sufficient fund, they can afford it, right? And also you can say, in many cases, that the tenant agreed to prepay a couple of months payment, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. By law, it's not. But if you voluntarily to prepay, the landlord will accept it. So in that case, make your client more stronger. Again, as I say, communication between you and the listening agent very important. Make sure that I'm Omar. I got my clients that just they may have financial okay, they have good job, they have good income, so make them comfortable. So that I can suggest you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I said to in the morning, the same training section. I told everyone, the same one I can tell you here, guys. So no one is know everything. No one is perfect. So you have to know where to find it from our website, from the calling our duty manager, calling whatever you need to. So in that case, find the resources, find something to answer your client, find something to help you do the trade, right? So that's important. So that's why I share with you again here tonight.
A quick question to David.
Yeah.
The term for commercial. Do you
Okay.
suggest? And I think Sammy touch on it a bit, but I just want to verify. I'm working with a client right now, and he is asking whether he should lock in the term for 5 years or 2+5+3. And to me, 2+3 is the same, except you're not locked in for the whole 5 years. You're only locked in for the 2 years, and then after that, you decide whether you wanted to stay. Am I correct in that assumption that it's better to do the 2+3 as opposed to lock in the full 5 years?
Okay, so probably this really depends on your client. So it's a commercial lease, as you said, right?
Yes, yes.
So in that way, make sure the background of the client. So that's why the same thing like residential qualify the client. Number one, their background. If they have confidence doing their carry on their business, why not do the 5 years term? Maybe make more better deal, right? So if they don't know anything yet, as you said, yeah, why not? You can try 2 years term plus 3 years option to renew, right? So in many cases, the longer term will be better for negotiate better deal. Short term, of course, then it's the same rate. Let's say the rate I give you $20. Maybe in that way, say, oh, only 2 years term, I cannot offer you 20, maybe 22, 23, 25. So that's the way you need to find out your competence, history, the background. So in that way, so people say, I don't care, I need 5 term plus 5. I remember I got the lease term many years ago, 20 years term. So why? They're confident. They did do the big business. They spend $1 million to renovation, right? So that's the kind of client you have to make sure, qualify them, make sure what they really, right? That's it.
Yeah. Well, my issue is I know this client might want to buy his own place in a few years.
Mhm.
So then when he gets to that position where he can afford to buy, then it will be easier for him to get out and not have to renew. Because I think his intent is to get his own place that he owns.
Yeah, good to know. In that case, I would prefer, let's say, 2 years term first, right? Get some option to renew in that way. So depend on the market. If really at the time, I don't need to renew the rent. I can buy directly, right? So that's why not? That's good.
So when we're signing the lease, it says it will tell us the rate for every year. Right now it says 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, up to 5 years. We can we use those rates for renewal as well to say, okay, if we renew, this will be the rate. It will be defined now, as opposed to, oh, we don't know what it will be 3 years from now. Is it normally defined, the amount for the renewal portion?
Again, depend on the location, the use of the unit. So in that way, you can work out, let's say, if you long 5 years term, of course, you can determine every year's price fits already. $10, 11, 12 every
Yes.
year. You can do that. So
Okay.
if you said, I don't want the long term, I get 2 years first, 2 years fixed term, right? $10 per square foot net net rent plus GMI. 2 years first. 3 years option will be open to the market. Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem, Tata. A lot of people shy, right? Anything in the guys that especially for new agent, Lynn just mentioned that a lot of people ask, oh, what I can do? How can I start my business? Right? So yeah, a lot of questions for sure. But don't be shy. You can ask anything. No questions, fully question.
Yeah. 多写什么诗吧？
Coco，你是说话是吧？Are you talking?
哦，
And I think any topic you guys can, unmic can speak up. Since you guys are here, I can mention one more thing here. For buyer agent, if you book for showing, make sure you, number one, lockbox I already mentioned, don't give lockbox code. That if you book for showing, please make sure the timing, okay? In time, on time or in time. If you are late, call them. If you are not going, cancel it. Call the listing agent broker, cancel it, or broker can do it. Otherwise, you get penalized. So how much if you don't go to showing the property without calling cancellation? $600 plus one cost, $800 for yourself. Again, our office policy, we already have policy. If anything, it's your fault. It's your fault. Something make some ethical conduct. You not only pay yourself, you need to pay also brokerage penalty. So make sure that's important. A lot of people say, "Oh, David, my book showing I cannot make it, so I did not call them to cancel." That's wrong. Okay, you need to call the listener. I'm late in 20 minutes, or I cannot make it. Call the listener agent, cancel it. Otherwise, the penalty is so severe. Don't play the risk. Okay. Some people even show the property, say to book an appointment for tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Suddenly they came for today at 2 o'clock. Because the property thought, oh, the property vacant. No problem. I can bring on a way to show other project can enter into the property. That's wrong. If you catch called by the leasing agent or by the seller, you'll be penalized. How much will it be? Over 7,000. Okay, don't do that. On time, in time, that's important. All right, that's the one I did not mention at the beginning. Open your minds. Don't worry. Yeah, if you don't want to speak, you can type something in the chat. I saw that some people type something there.
Okay, I'll talk because I'm the talkative one. It's Theta again.
You again. That's fine.
It's
Welcome
really-
back. Okay.
Well, if nobody wants to talk, I really am interested in the Chat GPT and other AI. So I'm looking to really seriously get into social media and a little bit be more active. But I really don't know where to start. How do I get, because I was online last night and the Chat GPT I'm getting is like 60 cents a day. And you're saying this is supposed to be $20 US per month. Where do I go to get this GPT-40? Do I just type in the Google? Are they all the same? I was told they're all the same. Just put Chat GPT and it should take you to the right spot. And I don't want to subscribe to the wrong one, or is there a wrong site? Or like I didn't see the $20. I saw $59 for the whole year.
Sarah, right? Sarah,
Yes.
you're in my class, right?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I can do a demo for you.
Okay, tomorrow.
Yeah, it's better that way. Otherwise, it could take a really long time.
Okay.
Yeah, it should
'Cause
be
I'm
very
just-
easy. Yeah, just like me,
It's- I-
download the desktop action and then desktop app.
Oh,
Then you
oh.
can do it immediately with the ChatGPT.
Okay, because
Very
it's
easy.
really totally new to me. I know how to
Yeah,
use
that's
other
okay.
software. Yeah, I'm just understanding just from watching YouTube that we do use software right now, and the way because I don't understand AI that well, so they said that the way to distinguish between AI and a software is dumb, and AI is a smart software.
Yeah, AI
steroids.
is a new way to do.
Yeah.
This
So
is-
really, it is like a software you're using, but it's smarter. It's almost like it has its own mind, and you have an assistant, really.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yes, but it's getting used to it. Like, how far can you abuse this assistant? And how do you do the prompt? Like, how do you,
I'm going to do a 5-minute
demo? Yeah.
tomorrow and see if you guys can look at it, how you
Okay.
can just
Awesome. Thank
yeah,
you.
and then go from there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate that.
Heather,
Okay,
you're doing a
here's
lot
a
of stuff,
question
huh?
from
With
Henry.
your commercial.
The question from Henry. Henry asked, I'm wondering how to help my tenants client to end the 12-month lease earlier. Should I deal with the landlord agent or let my client work on it directly with the landlord? Yeah, usually, when we finish the deal, the lease start, I think we should let it go. And you can try to get involved if you want, just build a better relation in the future. But most of the case, we are not a professional, landlord tenants as we are not a professional paralegal. Usually we cannot get involved too much. So the best way is to let your tenant talk to landlord directly and see if they wanted to earlier terminate the lease and how much the penalty both parties agreed. So if they agreed, then they can sign the form and pay the penalty and walk away from the deal. So as you know, we said we are not the paralegal. Usually we don't want to get the, to help, but to help get the more trouble come out.
Yeah, Sam is right. You see, in that case, you ask your tenant to talk to the landlord directly. You are not representing the tenant, so don't get yourself involved too much there. So whatever they can consult, conclude, and find a solution, that's their job, okay? Unless you got paid from whatever, and then say, in that way, you need to sign again that BRA, right? So that's just very complicated. Otherwise, you can say refer them, the tenant going to go through with the paralegal, lawyer, Alex Yu, office at in the group there already, right? So otherwise, maybe not too much work for you to do. Don't do that.
Hi, this is Chris Zhang. I have a question I want to ask. Actually, it's a real case from me. I want to ask some advice. So I'm a new agent, actually just started this year, and I have a potential buyer client is looking for a house, a townhouse in Mississauga, and now we are looking for houses, but it seems like my buyer client, he's not hurry. She always think like she want to buy a dip, and she's just we have been we have been going to many showings, but she somehow think like the market can be worse, and she can wait, and she kind of like maybe I think it's maybe a good timing to make a decision or buy a house if you really like it, but she somehow like maybe we can still wait until maybe later this year or next year. So I don't want to be too much to push her too much, but how I can encourage her to understand like actually it's a good timing, and if you really like a house, you can make a decision. You wouldn't be losing anything. Because last week we went to showing and we both think like it's a really good one, but she somehow like maybe we can find a better one, and her budget is just 1 mil, but she's obviously looking for over like a detached, or that asking price always like over 1.2 mil. So I think that's the expectation is different. So maybe I can ask Leah from the Western branch to answer the question. You can give me some advice how I can encourage.
Chris,
Yeah.
you gave me a really, really hard question.
Sorry about that.
Right, David? It's a very hard
No,
question
you
to
can
answer.
answer it. No, this is okay.
Okay, Chris, yeah, I know you contact me before trying to talk about something. So this is a client you were trying to talk to me about it, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, first of all, I think this is very common for a buyer right now, trying to look at the best deal, always thinking the market is not down enough yet. But I think I don't know. I'll just tell you what I would do. What I would do is I will give her the chart from 2 years ago or a year ago for the marketing, like do some comparison or anything.
Okay.
And first of all, is she's an investment or she have to buy living? Like
Oh,
first-
buy for living. Yeah, actually, yeah, not for instance.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if it's a first house living, I
Yeah.
would suggest her this is listen to me. This is a professional. Seriously, that's a good chance to buy and good timing to buy. So by the time the marketing getting better, or you never know, like people trying to get a deal, but who get a deal? The deal everywhere, every time, high market and low market. But in the low market, it's harder to get a best deal. You know why? Because when the house comes out, it's a real deal. You ask her, you ask yourself, do you really think you can get it? Because when the good deal comes, there are hundreds of people looking for that deal, then start beating offer. By the time the deal finish, the prices goes up. So never, ever have the bad deal, good deal. I mean, in the worst market, I mean, everywhere you go right now, you buy it for living. I think that's the best time to buy. But tell her this, like if you want looking for the good deal, you're not only one. Everybody trying to look at a good deal. So, but are you willing to give a bidding offer when the house worth $1 million and people asking for 800? When you give it to the 800, people give 900. Are you willing to bid up for this? And also is I don't think that's you know, that's you need to worry, because the house you buy you need to live in. You bought a house, and when the house become a 1.5, after, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna sell it? But when you sell it, the 1.5 million, you can buy nothing on the market by that time. You know, it's not even the seller and the buyer have to meet in some point that to make a deal. Not only buyer going to go offer the money and you think that you can make this deal, you can make, you know, for this price.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, Chris, Lia answered
Yeah.
very well. Yeah, I think that this is Tony Ma. I just like not hesitant to jump in. I would say at the very beginning, I mentioned that today is a very bad timing for sellers. So that's why I told many people, if you can hold another 3 months, 6 months, a year, hold it, don't sell. Treat every single property in your hand as a gold. This is not my wording. This is from another investor's mortgage broker's wording. I copied it from him. And for those people who really need to sell, have to sell, they don't have cash to put on this property. There's a big hole in the financial picture. They have to sell. Then they have to sell. Because they have to sell, I told them to put the price according to today's condition. Don't compare the price of the last year, so the last winter, so the last month. No, just to put the price today. You put the price today, probably lower the price. I would say this. So that also means that the language is converting to a best timing for buyers. There's a lot of good deal there. The problem is everyone have no guts, have no really the 胆量. What do you say in English? They don't have the really decision making, guts to make the decision. But today, I would say from now until end of June, timing will prove it will be the best timing for buyers. Unfortunately, after July, nobody say. Probably people say, "Oh, Tony, you guessed wrong." I don't think I guessed wrong. Just like Lia mentioned that if your client is not an investor, your client is a user, then any time is a good time. But today, for sure, is the best time. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Lia and Tony. Thank you for the answer. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Tony. But also trying to keep the relationship with your client. I know you don't want to push too much. Don't push.
Yeah.
You know what? It is a buyer market. If your client have a little bit knowledge, that they will know that's a buyer market. It's not seller market. That's why you don't see lots of house on the market. The house selling, but the price is low compared to the last year or year before. So keep the relationship with your client. If you have a client, you have a business, right? Either
Yeah.
she buy and she don't now, but later on she will purchase. But for her, like Tony said, if she's buying for living, then I think that's a no question.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
have to make her believe you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Sounds good.
Chris,
Yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
jumping. Sophia here. I'm jumping. Okay, Chris,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
2 cents. Yeah, you just mentioned your client's budget is only 1 million, but
Yeah.
she always look at something at 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah.
Don't laugh at it. Try to convince her, put on the paper.
Okay.
Even 1 million, even 100,000, whatever, put on the paper. You know, it's interesting. When people put on the paper, black and white, they will more serious. Counter back, send back, and they will learn. Okay? Then they will learn something from the market, and finally they will purchase something. Whatever, try to put on the paper.
Okay. Okay. You mean, okay. Got you. Thanks, Sophia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sophia's right. Put on the paper. You know, if they want to offer 1.3 million house for 1 million, just put on offer. Sometimes you will get surprised, maybe.
I have
Okay.
Yeah.
Chen, go ahead.
Thanks. I actually had one client. I actually got introduced from my coworker from previous brokerage I was in. He wanted to rent a property, $3,000 per month. And I asked him, send me all of his financial situation, like, T4 or whatever, like bank account, the money, how much money he has. Like, after I review it, I realize he really doesn't have good income to cover $3,000 per month. So I talked to him and he said, okay, I can I suggest him, I asked him how much money he can collect. And he said, oh, he can do 6 month rent in advance. He can pay as a deposit for 6 months. But I was still not confident. I was still not sure. So I told him that I don't think I could help him at this point. I asked him to bring me a better better, like when he has more money in his account or has a steady job, something like that. So I kind of reject him. In this situation, did I do right, or I need to approach the different way?
Okay, I'm gonna
Yes.
ask you this question first, Jin. So I didn't get it 100%, but I'm thinking that because that your client want to offer 6 months upfront and ask you to approach to the listing agent. That's what you mean, right?
Yeah, he wants to rent apartment, but he didn't say from the beginning he will do the 6 month, he will deposit 6 month rent. I asked him, because he doesn't have steady job. He owns his own business, but I review his monthly income and expense. At the end, he has nothing really much left. So in his account, he has only a couple of $1,000. I don't know how I can verify his income to the listing agent. So that's why I told him that I don't think I could help him at this point, even if he can make 6 months of rent paying upfront. I was still not confident becoming his agent.
I know. So you know what? Do not reject your own client unless you try it. Because he put you that want you to help him to find a place. He tried his best. He doesn't have a good income. He doesn't do it, but don't reject him until you try it. So again, talk to the listing agent, explain the situation. I'm trying to let him get a guarantor. David just mentioned about a guarantor, right? Trying to get him to get into someone can guarantor for him, paying extra money, not from your mouth. Like if he's voluntarily to do that, put it on the paper, let the listing agent decide to do it. But if you don't try it, don't reject him. I know right now the rental market is not good either. It start getting a little better, I believe, but it's not the best time. So maybe some, how do you call that, landlord will consider. So you never know. But if you say that to him, you may push him away. You lost the tenant.
Right.
I mean,
I lost him. That is for sure. It's just, I think it may be one of the reasons because I don't really know him. I just got referral from my co-agent. I think that's
right.
the reason.
Yeah, you just have to know the client better, trying to dig something out from him. If he have relatives, he have some set incomes. If the best thing is to get relatives or, to do a guarantor, but do not reject him right away, because if you reject him, that means that, there's no trust, there's no relationship you want to build between you and him for future. He may be your future client, you never know. But again, trying to work with the listing agency, what they want and what you can do for him. So,
Okay.
right? So trying to find something.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody is okay for now. All right, so one very important thing I should have mentioned, but I forget. So just remember to check your my web, recall my web. I know lots of the agent, they just not intentional, but they forget to renew. And they still have a trap, but the Tony get a bigger heartache. So that's why I always check the my recall, my web, making sure renew your license accordingly. Don't wait, it's already expired, and then you forget. That will create a huge, big problem.
Sorry to interrupt. Sammy, quick question.
Yeah.
I was wondering for the matrix option or the realm option. Like I know we up to the date to we're supposed to select them by end of the month. But again, I do like because I go with the matrix for a long time. I
Mhm.
like how I actually search up and also how layout for the leasing sheet. So I do like those features, but like on the other side, I like realms. How's the features on rooms as well? Is there any ways we can keep both access where to for extending time or with paying? Is there any way to get access to both?
Well, every year on the first, I think January, they have open to agent can try the both for a very short time, like a month. But after that, you have to decide which system you have to use. If you don't decide, they will go default for the last default you choose. Most of the agent you choose for the run. If you don't do anything, they will automatically go to run. So my suggestion is trying to use RAM, because RAM looks like it's the future. So trying to use RAM is a very good, powerful, and after a few months I use it, I like it. So trying to use RAM.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Appreciate it. And also, were there any trainings recently happening for Realm? Because yeah, I attend Matrix before, but like I didn't attend any for Realm recently. So I'm not sure if there any tutorial sessions going on right now for Realm.
Yes, you can log into Office website. We just did the 2025 both camp,
Okay.
and we just go very basic, the generic for the RAM, how to start, how to use. And also tomorrow we have another 2025 both camp, how to use the RAM, how to use Sky Slope to prepare the offer. So tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock. So you can come to office, or you can use Zoom. We have an online Zoom meeting.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so it's 9 o'clock, 2 hours. We talk about a lot, and hope every agent you enjoy. But if you still have any question, feel free to ask every manager individually if you have. And other than that, let's finish the meeting, and have a good night, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. So you can always approach us when you're in need of help. Good night.
Good night.